Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It ZIPINAR. And our platform here is to empower, to inform people. How do we do that? Simple. We call on speakers. We invite them on this platform. We ask them to join us, and they very happily, willingly, they come and join and give their time, their knowledge to the community. And this is how we start our we try to help the community. And if you want to do that as well, and if you want to get information, what else Let Us Talk It platform is doing, then please do email us at webinar@letustalkit.com, or you can visit our website at letustalkit.com. And or we do not stop there. We have youth sessions as well, which I will be talking later. But we do train youth on public speaking, on slide presentation, and they have their live sessions also going on every week. So you can also register your kids. Summer vacation is going on in US, and if you want some good time that your kids spend, you can do that also by registering your kids, going to our website, letustalkit.com/youth, and register your kids there as well. So with that being said, today, we'll straight away jump on two very different topics, but unique ones, I would say, both of them. The first topic being Conscious Living series, and it engages a little differently. It says water, engage in raising awareness, balancing impulse, conscious decision to exercise one's choice. So if this sounds a little familiar, but it's difficult to put things together, please stay on and listen to our speaker, Sujatha, who is the founder of Pravara with her husband. She's very passionate about what she does. She's also she has a LHH certified international career transition coach. She has 25 years of experience in the field of education. She's also certified interpreter for 9 psychometric instruments of OMI. Again, if it sounds a little unfamiliar, so stick along with us. If you are joining in on YouTube or Facebook, please put in your comments and we will take after her presentation. And trust me, she's so passionate, and we are absolutely honored to have you. Sujatha, over to you.
Thank you so much. Greetings, everybody. All those of you who are watching from Facebook, from LinkedIn, and Let Us Talk It. I think I should compliment each one of you all for the amount of effort you are putting in. Thank you, Julian, for connecting with me and for this opportunity. This is a really beautiful moment for us to recognize that we are moving beyond physical borders, isn't it? Connecting so across and suddenly connecting with a very difficult topic to understand. It's just like in Hindi we say, Hawa ka ek jhonka hai. It comes into the grasp. I feel I've got the grasp of it, and suddenly it's vanished. So what is it that makes us grasp something? We grasp it when it comes into an intellectual understanding. And then suddenly, I want to expand that thought or the perception, and then we say, gosh, this is just too much. Now, this is something which we have researched a lot. Suresh, my partner in life and partner at work. And we started with these kinds of questions, some of them. And then we came across something which became truly magnificent. Dr. Emoto's search, many of you might have known. Yes, we don't know whether it is a justified way of research or not, but look at the way we're going to connect it. The beauty is that our education, whether it is in school or college, is academically oriented from deep down south. In India, it is from Kendriya Vidyalayas to ICAC to and then internationally it is IB. Wherever we are going, there is a certain culture of trying to grasp something to know it. But life is so much larger than all of us. And so what happens is that which we perceived or understood for years suddenly stays in our mind in a particular way. And we want to build and construct everything in the same way. We didn't realize mostly how do we adjust the gears. Today we have a kind of proof that I'm going to share with you. Are you all ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you. This was the research done by Dr. Emoto. And so what he did was he took water, he took snowflakes. He saw that snowflakes are like leaves, and more relatable to us is our fingerprints. It's so different for each person. Same way, all these the snowflakes were actually different from each other. Now he said, if they are different, what is the difference? So he did some research. He did a double method, which probably people may not, the scientific field may have a question about it to applaud it. But then the research of Dr. Emoto went wild because he did not restrict the search only for snowflakes. He went in depth into it, and that is what we are going to see right now. So what he did was that he exercised it on snow, then went into understanding of the impact on different aspects. But before I take it over there, I would like you to just become conscious. I don't need an answer right now. You grasp within yourself what percentage of my body is having the component of water. I'm not looking at the science of it. I'm not looking at, I want you to look within yourself experientially. All right. He actually put in 30 years of experimentation, Dr. Masuro Imato. You could Google it, you get a lot of info. He did a research on spring water. Now, who wouldn't like to go to springs? All right. And the water feels so fresh, so vibrant, just seated there. Suddenly, one will start glowing with happiness. All right. Isn't it so? The water that's flowing in spring.
Yes.
And the same water, it comes in pipe. And then what happens? You suddenly feel, oh, this is a chore. We need to do this chore. Turn off the tap, turn on the tap. Then we just get it over and done. Where did that experience go of that water in the spring? And so we are looking at it. So what he did was, he froze the water and then he took pictures of it. And then at the molecular level, they had their scientific instruments to grasp the picture. Now you'll see this. So when we saw the natural springs, pure water, the water was very, crystalline. When it came to polluted water, piped water, the image of the molecular structure was random and distorted. Look at the way this one you see over here to your left is something which is distorted. You see the one on the right? It looks literally like some design, isn't it? A complete design by itself. He did something more. He took pieces of music and then captured what is the impact on water. And this is what he found for Beethoven's destiny. Awesome, isn't it? This is the Pachwal's famous canon. And look at the design there. He also saw what is the impact of words. I would like to share our own experiment we tried, but before I move on, he tried the word love and look at it. I can literally hear Julian saying love, and then it would be like this. You like that, isn't it? When someone uses the word, hey, love, and then you find that the impact is different, right? The word wisdom, it encompasses so much more. The wisdom to choose a word, the wisdom instead of going impulsive about a reaction, we just hold and say that, listen, let me respond to this differently. Can I exercise my choice? I'm moving on. So we found that if my cursor is pointing over there and you're able to see, to the left extreme top row is heavy metal music. The words, you make me sick, I'll kill you. The word, impact of the word Adolf Hitler. Love, appreciation. The row below, Mother Teresa. I'm not coming to the thank you right now because I'm going to keep that for the last. This was a 27-day experiment that has been done. Now, all of you who have, you could really try this. We did this. We took two bottles of a similar type, and we put in one of them, both of them, we put the same quantity of cooked rice. I've not tried it with noodles. I've tried it with rice, cooked rice. And we poured water from the same container into both of them. And when they were set in, they were exposed to a similar sunlight on a shelf. And after 27 days, where we had written the word, which is like, I love you, we had put Shanti, all right? And we found the water was sweet smelling wine. It was very delicious and it was not spoiled, really. So this is why I call it a miracle. And where you have not written anything or you have written hate you, you'll see that the fungus would have been formed. This is experientially true. I would urge you to try this. Religions across, all right, I'm not speaking of any specific religion. Religions across have seen the value of water. The Hindus, even the Buddhists have tirtham, they use water for cleansing. Christianity uses sacred water. What difference will you bring in your relationship with water? I really want you to think about it. What percentage of water is there in your body? In our day-to-day life, we move from one moment to the other moment, remembering because we've got a checklist. We've got a tick list. If we want to tick this, yes, tick, done, done. If we don't do that, someone else is doing that for us. In this trying to match this, what we do is sometimes we forget about our higher purpose. What are we achieving? What should we be achieving? Yes, we need to meet all this. Look at that set which you have in your hand and you call it a mobile. It has so many functions. In fact, for some of us, we live by it. It's just for this presentation, I chose to come on my laptop. Else, most of my work is done on the mobile. Does it intermingle it? No. It's good if we can start thinking that what choice shall I make consciously? How do I think? The beauty here is that when I go ahead with it, I find that if I feel, oh, some time ago he cheated and so he's going to cheat again. I was cheated some time ago, I'm going to be cheated again. It's the past experience which is making me conclude about the present and fear about the future. Where does the past come? Where does the experience come? From the past. And what does the past do? It sediments a memory. Using that memory, we conclude on our relationships, on our relationship with self, with people around us, never giving an opportunity that there's going to be possibly a huge growth. When we become aware about it, suddenly the whole thing changes. Conscious living is not a, it's not a product like, you grasp it, you hold it. Every second you'll be checked for your assumptions that you're making. So awareness is one aspect that can help us step into consciousness. Another aspect is that if we a reminder comes, you know what, last time he behaved this way. Now you thank the thought, let it be, set it aside. You handle it with the awareness that last time he did this, maybe not now. And now, haven't I changed? Now suddenly you're seeing new possibilities. And so what happens is judgment, anger, resentment, all these are taken away from our system. Someone else's behavior caused us all that. We didn't like their behavior. We didn't like their words. We didn't like their slackness in them. We didn't like the way they didn't respond to us when we wanted them to respond in a particular way. And so we got angry. But who's the one who's impacted with the anger? Self. Awareness can help us move beyond all this. And what happens is suddenly people will come in touch with you like how Julian came to me. Like so many of you are going to listen to this video after this. Awareness to make a choice is one aspect. Gratitude. I'll share with you what gratitude picture may look like. Thank you may look like. We have tried another experiment. We've kept water in a particular spot in a copper bowl and in a clean copper bowl, and then we just let it stay for a few hours. And then we taste it. Believe me, you'll love to drink that water. What is the connection we had with this? The connection is that if that simple experiment showed you how polluted water was behaving, now you tell me, at least 60% of our body is water. Tell me, what are you doing with your children? If you're a teacher, your school students, as evolving leaders of the future, as nurturing future leaders, with our right to pass an opinion, we also have a responsibility And so what happens is we give them an opportunity to explore themselves, to explore our relationship with other person. And so I would like to take on to the next. This is the power of words. This is the power of word that is thank you. I don't know if you're able to see that. This is the power of word, thank you, on the water. The work we do is, we are into behavioral training. We use, we use few things. We use behavioral training. We look at conversations by themselves. We look at focused conversations, and we look at psychometric assessments to understand the skill set of the people and the role that they are going to play. All right. And we have found the beauty of it is that when we practice all this, suddenly the whole thing changes for us. I'm going to play a small music for y'all and then close this session for myself. But should you want to ask questions, I think we've got 2 minutes more. Julian? You can ask me some questions.
Hello, Phil. We cannot hear you, I think. Are you speaking, Phil?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Very informational about water and snowflakes, Sujatha. So anybody from the audiences can now ask questions before Sujatha will close her session.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Killen. I've been using Taboola to create these really fun videos to share with prospective patients on social media, and it's super fun.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting session, Sujatha. It's unbelievable what you told and explained along with the scientific evidences. Would like to definitely experiment something because the human mind is always questions and skeptical.
Yes.
So I will test it for myself as well.
Please test it and do let me know. All right. You can connect with me with, I'll drop in my email ID and you can connect with me. All
Sure.
right. Could I know
Yeah,
your name, please?
such a wonderful, insightful session.
Thank you so much.
Sujatha, this is Sheetal. I had one question.
Please do.
Have you heard of the miracle water in Lourdes, France?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what is your take on that?
This is something which, which is, again, I'm going to touch onto something which is probably mystical and people may not believe it. All right. I don't know if you have been touched by someone who's reached something which is unexplicable. The impact of that, I'll take an example. A flower that was given by a very evolved soul. And I keep the flower in a book, which I normally do that way. Months later, years later, I open that leaf and I see the petals are still soft. How does this alchemy happen? It's so difficult to understand. Coming to your question of the Lords, it's not because someone has put a coin there and made a wish. It's been already translated into so many things else. It is because of the two saints over there who've gone there and done some practice over there. The essence remains. And to help understand that, I gave the example of the rose given by the evolved person, evolved being. So it is a mystical experience, experientially what has happened to the saint, that it has translated like that over there. Thank you. I
Thank
hope I
you.
answered your question. Shikul?
Yes, thank you. And I also feel like it also depends on the receiver. Sometimes our frequency might not be in line with the saint or whoever enlightened soul that's giving us, whether it's a flower or water.
It's actually very beautiful what you're saying. As a receiver, sometimes I don't realize it. But you know, the ones who have given, the enlightened ones or the evolved souls, it's like the mother who gives love to the newborn baby. The baby never asks that attention from the mother. But look at the way the mother touches the child. And then you see that now this experience will be stored in the energy level, Sheetal. And as awareness raises, we suddenly start recognizing, we go back to that moment again. It does happen.
That
No evolved soul would have
yeah.
left anything without making a safe, a safety that it can always be realized when the awareness has raised for the receiver. Yes, the receiver may feel like kicking themselves. Why I didn't realize it then? But there it is. But the giver would have always given with that state. Thank you. It was beautiful. I wish I could extend the conversation, but then there's Bruhad after this. I would love to listen to him. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have to get in. Um, uh, I mean, it was amazing. And the way you got it down, like the calmness with your words and the subject water, I think absolutely this awareness is what we all know about it. But yes, as we spoke earlier, also that awareness being so important to be heard, to be connected once again. It was a fabulous beautiful calmness I felt. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sujatha.
So much too. I'm actually playing a music. I'll share in the group. Please listen to some music. Some of you may feel like crying, or some of you may feel like just letting go. It's a wonderful moment to let go. All right? It's good. Thank you all so much. Have a
I
blessed
see.
life.
Thank you so much, Sujatha. Now, since you have already closed your session, let's move to the next topic for today, which will be self-management. He said time is not money. It's worth much more. And when you realize the worth of your time, you know how to spend it on things that are very productive. So the next speaker is the founder of Alma Solutionists, globally certified design thinking practitioner, and ICF certified transformative coach. Has delivered 300 plus behavioral and leadership workshops and has transformations to his credit for 10,000 plus. Also have trained more than 6,500 people in design thinking since June 2018. So I will not prolong. I deliver to you the next speaker for today, which is Bruhad Buch. Over to you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much, Phil. Firstly, Sujatha, wonderful, wonderful presentation. I really loved the way you presented the entire piece. And I will pick up from where you left, which is the art of letting go. Uh, Time management or self-management is all about letting go, and it's not about having it all. Is something that I'm going to start with. So thank you so much for giving that cue to me for me to start my session. All right. Okay. So we all live in a world which is full of tools, frameworks, tips, tricks, methodologies, and whatnot. We live in a world full of information. We live in a world full of so much advice, so much consultation going on around that we fail to understand that time management as a concept does not exist. You may be wondering why there is no slide presented here. And the reason for that is I am not going to present any slide to you. Time management as a concept does not exist because of the following reason. Think about it. There are 24 hours in the day. You can't make them 25. You can't make them 23, can you? All you can do is manage your own self within those 24 hours to make yourself something that we all call as productive. And during my recent session, I was doing this self-management Think 3D session with one of my clients. And during the break, one of the senior leaders came in and said, "Bro, you've started off something very interesting, but I know where you're going to go to. I really know that you're going to give us tools, you're going to give us frameworks, and my CEO expects me to be more productive. Now, before you go on and give us those tools, those frameworks, those different kinds of beautiful infographics that you show on your presentation, let me tell you, I've been trying to use Stephen Covey's priority matrix. It does not help me. I've tried to sort things out. It's just not helping me. I've tried to cut my non-essential meetings. I've tried prioritizing tasks, and I have tried obvious ways to do these things more efficiently, but I'm just not able to make myself productive. Well, you may consider this as a joke, but the best I can think of doing something right now is cutting down on my intake of water, tea, or coffee so that I can reduce my bathroom breaks and so that I can have those extra minutes for me to relax and get some time for myself. Funny, isn't it? And this is exactly how everyone thinks about time, and that is exactly where all of us go wrong. As a culture, we are all obsessed with personal productivity. Everyone wants to become the Vin Diesel of Too Fast, Too Furious. We want everything very quickly. The impulse takes over, the patience doesn't stay, and we say we just want to get so much done in limited time because on social media, there are so many people doing so many things in limited time, and I'm just not able to match my speed up to that. I've read time management books. I'm dreaming of 4-day work weeks because some countries have applied it, and why not in our country? I just want to get some time, personal time, to enhance my productivity. And that is where you need to know that time management in today's world is no longer physical or emotional. It's all psychological. All of us believe that if we have so many tasks to do, time management is a solution. To-do lists is a solution. Prioritizing things is a solution. Prioritizing them based on urgency and importance is the solution. But no, that is actually the problem. Time management is actually the part of your problem. And that is exactly where self-management comes into picture. Now, you may be wondering, bro, what are you saying? This all sounds good in theory. This all sounds good in books. How is it that we really can apply this in our real life? And for that, I'm going to share something very interesting with you. I hope all of you can see my whiteboard. I'm going to share with you a formula which is going to change your life. And this formula is called ROTI, which is return on time invested. All right. Now, I hope you have pens and papers with you, or you can just open a notepad or probably a calculator because you may be doing some mathematics here. All right. Pardon me if I go wrong with my mathematics because I'm a little weak with maths, but let's try and give you something which you can take away, which you can apply almost immediately in your life. All right. So let's start with the first part of this formula. All right. Now, this is your total income or earnings per month. Now, typically, if I was to look at a total income or earning, I would look at all your investments, your assets, anything that helps you to accumulate wealth. But for the sake of this particular activity, let's try and take your monthly salary. All right. Let's say that you earn $10,000 a month. Wow, that's fascinating, isn't it? $10,000 a month, not bad. All right, okay. Let's think about it as $10,000 a month. That's something that you earn. All right. Now, what you need to do is you need to divide this. You need to divide this by the total number of hours you spent earning it. Now, let's consider that you work for 40 hours a week, approximately 4 weeks. That makes it around 160 hours a month. And let's focus on saying, okay, you're spending 100 hours earning it, just for the sake of calculation. Like I said, my mathematics is a little weak. All right, so let's say this is your total number of hours that you spent earning it. Right? What will this give you? This will give you your value in dollar per hour, or your worth per hour, which is approximately $100 per hour. Right? So this is your value in terms of per hour. This is what you are worth per hour. Now imagine, okay, and I want you to calculate your own piece, and I will want you to use the chat box and tell me how substantial this amount looks like, all right, when it comes to your own earning. Don't disclose your earning. It may demotivate the others or motivate the others, but don't share your earnings. All right, so what we're going to do is imagine that in the month, all right, you waste around 60 hours. Let's say you waste around 60 hours in a month. All right. Now, what you will have to do is you will have to multiply this by your value per hour. This will make it approximately $6,000. So you have wasted around $6,000 per month. You wasted $6,000 per month. Now, multiply this particular part by 12, because we have 12 months in a year. This is equal to, oh, that's a whopping figure. This will give you somewhere around $72,000 annually. This is the total time stroke money that you have wasted annually. Imagine what you could do with this money. What can you do with $72,000? Could you probably buy a new car? Could you probably pay the mortgage for your house? Could you probably get your EMIs sorted? What else could you do with this kind of money? But this is exactly where your self-management thinking comes into the picture. Imagine that you want to buy an Apple phone costing $1,000. All right? Are you really giving $1,000 for this phone? You are actually giving away 10 hours of your work for buying an Apple phone. 10 hours of work will only get you one phone. If you want to buy a car, those many number of hours are going to get you that car. If you want something else, those many number of hours that you've invested, that you have really worked hard, you've sweated day in, day out to earn that money, and all that hard-earned money is all going in for a toss. This is exactly where you are trying to waste your money. Tell me in the chat box, do you think this is a substantial amount? Or do you think, no, this is an amount which we can easily afford? We earn enough that we can afford to waste this much. Tell me, what do you feel? Have you calculated your own scores? Have you calculated your own scores? And if so, what do you feel? Is it substantial? Is it big? Is it huge? Is it insignificant? What is it? I'm going to give you a minute to calculate, because that is something that you may want to use the calculator for, because you may be earning much more. And that is what makes us not value our time. That is what not makes us think about time in a different dimension. What we always think about is, uh, how does it matter if we're spending half an hour here? How does it matter if we're spending 15, 20 minutes there? How does it matter if we're doing this? How does it matter if we're doing that? And these are the small, small things which are actually compounding over a period of time and making this huge, making this substantial. Think about it as you investing your money. Now, I'm sure all of you must be doing SIPs. You must be doing, you must be putting in fixed deposits. You must be investing your money in order to accumulate wealth. ROTI to your life is as significant as compounding interest is to your wealth. And that is where you need to start thinking about something which is called as the significance dimension. What is the significance dimension? We all think about priorities. We all talk about urgent things. We say, how soon does this particular thing matter? We also talk about importance, which says how much does this particular thing matter? But what we all forget is that while the importance and the urgency is an integral part of our life, what is most important is how long is this going to matter? But that is the significance dimension which changes everything. One of my participants in one of my programs came and told me, Bro, we are implementing a new technology in the organization. We are looking at an ERP system implementation, but I think it's a waste of time and money. And why is it a waste of time and money? Because all they are doing is coming to me, asking me for data. They are taking that data, dumping it into a system, coding and doing something which I don't understand, and they say they're going to automate this entire piece. And my simple question to this particular gentleman was, what do you think is going to be the impact of the implementation of this ERP system in your work? I don't know. Have you asked them? Good one. Let me go and check with them what is going to happen with me. So he goes back. He comes back after a couple of days and he says, Bruce, what they're trying to tell me is with this ERP system in place, I will become 25% more productive. I will do this, I will do that, and blah, blah, blah. He gave me some statistics. And I'm like, I don't want statistics. You tell me, how is it going to impact you? How is it going to impact your life? And how is it going to make life easy or difficult for you? And his answer was, I think, and what I'm seeing is I will be able to do things that I haven't been able to do in the past because of a certain system or a certain structure that was missing in my life. That may lead to me getting promotions. That may lead to me getting a role enrichment. That may lead to me getting multiple other things that I honestly did not think of. Oh, this is significant. This is huge. And that, my dear friends, is exactly the word that all of you should be looking for. This is significant. The next time you think about spending time on something, you may think that, oh, this is urgent. I need to do this right now. My boss has asked me to do this right now. You may think it is important. I really, really need to do this because it is going to impact my career for some period of time. But what you really need to ask is, how long is this particular thing going to matter? And that exactly goes for all your thought processes. Some of you may be thinking, I want to start my own business. I want to get out of this 9 to 5. I do not want to stay in my corporate life. And I really want to do something substantial in my life. But I can't do it. I have EMIs to pay off. I have children to feed. I have a family to take care of. And that is important for me. I don't say that is not important. All I'm asking you to do is, how long is this thought going to be with you? If this thought is going to be with you for a long period of time and it's going to eat you every single day of your life, is it really worth thinking about Is it really worth making it eat your brains up and saying and feeling bad about it every single day, rather than thinking about how is it that you can make life better both for your family and for yourself by taking that small risk? That is where the significance calculation comes into the picture. That is where the ROTI comes into the picture. And what I see Jitesh and Nupur as participants telling me that they are substantial amounts and they are huge amounts. Your necessities, your luxuries, everything can be taken care of if you start thinking about self-management as a psychological piece and not as a physical or an emotional piece. Most of our decisions get emotional, we get intuitive, we get instinctive, and we say that if we do this, this will happen. If we do that, that will happen. And your entire life goes just in thinking. ROTI will just change all of that. Imagine this: in a 24-hour day, you spend 8 hours in sleeping. The rest of the 16 hours, 8 hours, you are approximately 8 hours you're working. And now, because of the work from home and the pandemic, you're working approximately 12 hours. You still are left with 6 hours, and all you're doing in those 6 hours are thinking, what can I do with my life? Now, imagine if this is the kind of money that you're making. You're wasting $600 per day, which makes it $18,000, and which makes it's a huge amount. I can't even calculate. My mathematics is that bad. And that is the kind of amount you're wasting in thinking about things that are not significant. These are the worries which are eating you, which may not be there in reality, and you are wasting time on that. And you are expecting matrices, tools, tips, frameworks to actually solve your problem. It's not going to solve your problem. It is not going to solve your problem. And that is why you need to transition to self-management. When it comes to self-management, all I always tell people is when you're thinking about compounding your wealth, or you're planning to increase your wealth using investments, everyone does an SIP. And I'm going to give you an SIP for self-management today. The first S in the SIP is called as space your pace. And what I mean by space your pace is, do not think of everything to happen at the pace of knots or at the speed of knots. It's not going to happen. Every individual has his or her own destiny. Every individual has his or her own way of dealing with things. Everyone has their own time. And your time will come. You don't need to work at a pace like the others are working. Do not rely on what you see on social media, because all of that is merely an illusion. Give yourself that space to think about the ROTI. Give yourself the time to think about that significance dimension. Give yourselves the time to decide your own pace and decide, this is the right time to do my thing. That is the right time to do my thing. And that brings me to the I. And the I is simply about introspection. And it's about introspecting where you are spending your time. Many of my participants tell me, bro, we want entertainment. We want to watch Netflix. We want to watch Amazon. We want to immerse ourselves into an experience that helps us relieve our stress. Do that. I'm not asking you not to do that. I'm not asking you to work 24 hours a day, 365 days, seven days a week. I'm not asking you to do that. But introspect, really, are you really spending your time in the right way? Because time management is not about physical or not about being emotional. It's more about psychological. And that brings me to the P. And I'm sure you must be wondering, Bruhad is now going to talk about practicing. He's going to talk about philanthropy, or he's going to talk about prioritization. But what I'm talking about is, I want you to personalize self-management. And what I really mean by personalizing self-management is, you are the master of your destiny. You are the master of your time. You can decide when to start. You can decide when to stop. You can decide when to take a pause. And nobody else can decide that for you. If you believe that, I am a student and my parents are really, really, putting pressure on me of doing this and that, they're actually not putting pressure on you. They're trying to tell you something for your own good. You are putting pressure on yourself. If somebody's saying, why don't you start a job and start earning? Entrepreneurship is not for you. The choice of going into a job is yours. It's not theirs. You are the master of your own destiny. You are the person who's deciding what to do. Nobody can decide what you do. Remember, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to the other. And when you say to no thing, you're saying yes to the other. And that's exactly where the significance dimension comes in. And that is where you can control your own destiny using self-management. Self-management is nothing. It is not as fancy as you think. Self-management is not about using tools, tips, tricks, frameworks, but it's about giving yourself that permission, giving yourself that permission to think that this is not the right time to do this, whereas this is the right time to do this, and nobody else can decide it but you yourself. And this, my dear friends, is something that I wanted to share with you in the 30 minutes that you have spent with me. All I can say is that time is not going to stop for you. Time is not going to wait for you. So if you believe that time is money, you're absolutely wrong, because time is much more than money. Money can go and come back, but the time gone is never going to come back. Thank you so very much for listening to me. Thank you so very much for having patience with me for the last 20, 25 minutes. And I now open the floor to questions and answers. All yours.
That was very wonderful and significant as the significant dimensions, uh, Brad. So like it's really intelligent of you to share, like giving us the thought of like time, not just like talking about money. Like we have to give ourselves like the peace of mind that we will deserve, instead of like worrying things that's not in reality. So that's really insightful. So yeah, we can now like entertain questions regarding the
Absolutely.
topic.
Yeah, pretty amazing session. I mean, very impactful and very interesting from start to end. So yeah, definitely we have to talk offline and to see what else we can explore, in this thought pattern. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It was awesome. You've got a compelling way of telling things. I tell you seriously, I just loved it.
Thank you so much, Sujatha.
You had this
Thank
to
you so much.
break some assumptions and then come back to it again. It was something really very, very awesome. Really.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question for you. May I?
Sure. Yeah, please.
So when you're saying of managing self, which is something really awesome, all right, it takes the whole pressure out that someone is putting on us. I take responsibility for myself. It's something fabulous. But there are some shared meetings, shared work. So how does one integrate that? If you can give some tips, I'm sure whoever is going to listen will find it very meaningful.
Sure. Definitely. So yeah, this is a question that has always been very tricky, and thank you so much for asking that question. See, when it comes to shared work, when it comes to you know you depending on somebody, you got to think of this as, is it in your control to take a decision for yourself? If the answer is yes, then the choice is yours. If the answer is no, what you can do is you can try and make the most out of whatever you are doing in those 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or 30 minutes. Now, let's give you an example. Let's say you are a part of a project and you have 30 members in that project. Now, 30 members are not going to get an opportunity to speak. Whereas in that meeting space, somebody is sharing something. If you believe that you can add value to that particular piece add value when it comes, when the time comes, and leave the rest of it and continue doing your work on a sideways, because that is something that you cannot control. Now, if you keep thinking about it, saying, oh my God, I have to be in this meeting, I don't think I will get an opportunity to speak, what do I do, where do I go, what do I what do I really contribute, etc., etc. These thoughts are all actually wasting your time, because you can't do anything, you just got to accept it and move on. And that is where you need to focus on. Am I able to control it? If yes, take a decision, move on, accept it. If you cannot, you still got to accept it, but you can do your thing by contributing your 2 cents. And that is the maximum thing that you can do when it comes to shared projects, or when it comes to things that you're dependent on somebody else.
Awesome. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to share their insight or ask a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Bruhad, this is Harini here. At the
Hi,
outset,
Harini.
it was wonderful listening to you. You
Thank you so
absolutely
much.
made me proud as I heard you. And, I know that you're working a lot with students as well. And so am I. So my question to you is, when you're giving this ROTI formula to students, they may not be able to relate with total income or earnings per month at this stage in life. So
Yeah.
how do you explain this concept to students? How do you help them quantify this?
Thanks a lot, Harini, for that question. So, just for knowledge of people, I'm very proud that Harini, you are, here. Harini is was my mentor, is continuing to be my mentor. So, I'm really happy that you are here. Thank you so much for coming and listening to me. And now to answer your question, when it comes to students, what I typically do is I ask them how much do they invest in, let's say, recharging their mobile phones, or buying a Netflix subscription, or buying any subscription that they do, or thinking about their pocket money. And some of them say we don't get pocket money, but we have this subscription, we have this and that and all. So I say that, okay, you are investing so much money over here and you're feeling good. And this generation believes a lot in subscribing to the Zakir Khans and the Atul Khatris of the world. They love these experiences. And I say, you find that 1 hour worth. Why do you find that 1 hour worth? And they say, we get 1, we get 2, we get 3, we get 4, we get 5. And they are very clear on those aspects. So the ROTI for them is basically, what are you going to get as an output from that particular experience that you are having? If you can quantify that in, let's say, I'm going to get 3 outputs from, let's say, this session. If I'm going to get 3 outputs from, let's say, a Netflix movie. If I'm going to get 3 outputs from, let's say, a coaching session. And if you get that, your ROTI is perfect. If you do not get that, that means you have not put in the effort of understanding where you are really investing your time.
Interesting. So even if they cannot quantify or start with earnings, I think definitely they can put the amount that they're spending and calculate from that whether they're getting value for the money. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. For that. Thanks, Arni, for the question. Thanks so much. Yes, please. Any other question that any of you may have?
Thank you. Anybody wants to ask more?
I think we have one question in the Q&A. Phil, can I take that?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So, can delegating tasks increase ROTI? Which tasks can be delegated? All right. So, to answer your question, delegating tasks, yes, they can increase ROTI, but it's more about how you are empowering them from delegation. If that delegation is going to, increase your own work, even after explaining that to the person 3 times, your ROTI is not really going to be, not really going to be as substantial for you as you would like it to be. So if you were to really delegate something, you got to think of 3 major aspects. One is that individual capable enough of handling this particular task on his or her own style? Is it that they can do it on their own and with a little bit of a hand holding? Number 2, how many times would you want to step in and give them that particular hand-holding piece? So is it going to be once? Is it going to be twice? Is it going to be thrice? So you got to decide that particular piece. And three is the kind of tasks that you need to delegate should be based on the competency level of that particular individual, rather than thinking, oh, this is priority C for me, let me delegate that task. So if you tick these three boxes, definitely your ROTI will definitely increase. And that's something that I just wanted to answer. I hope that I answered Tejal's question. Yes.
All right. So yeah, I think that really answered Tijal's question. So no other questions, and we can proceed to closing the session. All right. So yeah, for both speakers, thank you so much for spending your time sharing your knowledge and intellect to each and everyone today. So we thank you for that. And so also, we have our live youth Let Us Talk It webinar every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And this week, the topic is youth's favorite idioms. So you can join the preparation sessions every Tuesday and Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time by registering at our website, letustalkit.com/youth. So for younger youth group, we have live webinars this Friday, 18th of June at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So topic is youth's favorite summer activities. So we've had our own favorite summer activities, so this will be fun. So we hope that all you can join these youth webinars, so we could also encourage our youth in terms of doing the speaking. All right. So without further ado, thank you so much again, everyone, and have a good day. See you around.
Thank you also. Happy day
Thank
to
you very
you.
much for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Sujatha. It was a wonderful session, wonderful hearing you. Look forward to connecting with you.
Must congratulate our organizers, because both our topics were.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful listening to you, and I felt it was a real good. Both of them gelled. The topics.
They did. Yeah. So thank you so much. Let Us Talk It team. I think really grateful to all of you.